LMGs or light machine guns are nothing new in airsoft. As a matter of fact, us here at RedWolf TV have reviewed a slew of them before. I mean, just take a look. I think y'all get the point. But what I'm trying to say is, what more can be done to improve upon this already existing platform? A little while ago, Tokyo Marui came pretty close to delivering probably the best offering when it came to the LMG platform in the form of the Mark 46. It came with all the typical Marui fanfare: great performance, exceptional build quality, awesome packaging, and added realism by combining an electronic recoil system and semi-realistic operation. However, there were some drawbacks. Its FPS was relatively low. The added electric recoil system means there's just more moving parts for, well, let's say it, potential failures. And not to mention, it does draw a bit more juice from your batteries. All of these are not deal breakers by any means, but are things to keep in mind nonetheless. So, here's VFC's offering. Not a Mark 46, but +2, the Mark 48. Now, I don't think there's anything here that is necessarily reinventing the wheel, but what I think they've done is they've perfected the recipe. Let's do a quick history lesson on the Mark 48. Now, there's a lot of marks out there, not including me, so I think it's only fair that we let you guys in on what it all stands for. The Mark 48, or Maximi, is a lightweight machine gun chambered in 7.62 by 51 NATO, compared to its mini-me counterpart, the Mark 46, that is chambered in 5.56. The weapon was manufactured by a division of F. Hen Herstal based in the United States and was developed in conjunction with US SOCOM and was then later adopted first by Special Operations Units. The airsoft version is a 1-to-1 replica of the real steel variant, and it even comes with dummy rounds, though I think these look a little nicer than what comes with the gun. This gun is made mostly of lightweight aluminum and some plastic and is extremely lightweight given for how much of a hunking beast this guy is. To put it in perspective, in comparison, the Mark 46 weighs 6.35 kilograms or about 14 pounds, whereas the Mark 48 comes in at 4.9 kilograms or 10.8 pounds. Almost a 3-pound difference. All the controls of the gun are pretty much where I expect them to be. The charging handle, the safety, the sights, easy to read, and you will find Picatinny rails on the top cover, the 3, 6, and 9 o'clock positions of the handguard. The Mark 48 comes ready with Deans or T-plugs. You can also change it to Tamiya if you would like, with this nifty adapter. Now with all the boring stuff out of the way, let's get to the quirks and features of this gun. I've always wanted to say that, because there are indeed some quirks I do want to go over that are quite interesting. First, I want to highlight the magazine and feeding mechanism. The Mark 48 features not one, but 2 magazines. Yes, you heard me right, 2. The gun features an internal reservoir that holds 800 rounds on its own, and the box mag can hold a further 8,000 rounds for a total of 8,800 rounds. Now let me tell you how it all works. First, you lift up the top cover and fill the internal magazine here. Now there's a switch, you push this forward, and a tray opens, and you fill this tray first. And this fills all up into this internal storage that goes into the fake gas block here. So 800 rounds are stored inside this gun, and believe me, you don't even need this magazine to fire the 800 rounds that are inside the gun. Second point, you can then plug in the box mag into here by using the hose that comes out of the box mag, and it attaches right here into this slot. I need to see it. There's an indication that says up on the top. Make sure that's facing up and you slip it right there. And as you shoot, the magazine would then feed BBs into the internal storage. It will prioritize the internal storage first. As you shoot, the BBs will start to load by itself. Now get this, there's something very interesting about this design. Come a little closer and I'll show you. You see on the top of the magazine, there's these 2 connectors here, and they line up nicely with the gun's contact points right here. What are these now? These connectors directly feed off the internal power that's in the gun, powered by one single battery. So all of this and the mechanism within the box mag is drawn off the same battery that is powering your gun's motor. Very cool. You no longer need to fidget with multiple different batteries to make sure your magazine is powered and feeding your gun. The second thing I want to talk about is the operation of the gun, but I want to save that for when we're at landing zone, because I think that show and tell is going to be a little bit more impressive than me just talking about it right here on the table. Moving on to the final little quirk about the Mark 48. So the last point is the hop-up adjustment. Now, if I don't tell you, you'd never guess where it is. It's right there. This little hole right here. Now it comes with a very thin Allen key, and you use that to adjust the hop-up. Alternatively, you can actually lift up the top cover and access the hop-up right there as well. Now you may think, adjusting the hop-up, kind of boring. However, here's the quirk. Now for added realism, you can also quickly detach the whole barrel assembly just like the real thing, which you can also access the hop-up and do a bit of cleaning if you so choose. How you do that, you take this latch here, press this downwards, pull the handle, take this whole front assembly, I'm going to pull forward. That's all you need to do. And there is your whole barrel assembly with your hop-up unit right there. While we have the barrel out like this, I just want to go over a few pointers. Now, it is told that this is not the ideal way for you to adjust your hop-up, because if there are rounds and BBs inside, this may cause some issues. However, if you're cleaning, this is a great way for you to clean and maintenance your front barrel assembly. Now, while we have this in our hands, let's talk about the threading. The threading is 14mm CCW. Now, we have our trusty tracer unit, and I'm going to show you guys. Voila! Finally, you'll see this section here, which is part of your internal BB storage. Now, this is where all the rest of your BBs go. I'm using 0.2 gram BBs and an 11.1 Titan battery. We're also going to see just how fast this gun can shoot as well. Not bad. Here we are, and we're about to shoot the Mark 48. Now, as we're going to load the gun, there's a bit of a trick to it, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So in the instructions manual, it says you need to tilt the gun forward as you load, because the BBs and the internal magazine got to go all the way to the front inside this internal magazine storage space. So that's exactly what I'm doing. Time to fill the gun. While the gun is relatively light, filling it with 8,800 BBs will add back that 1.76 kilograms or almost 4 pounds of weight. So don't fill it all the way full if you prefer to stay nimble. With the magazines both filled, now it's time to shoot the Mark 48. Now, I did say there is a small quirk I wanted to wait till we get here before I show you guys. A little bit of added realism, which is really cool about this gun, that in order to fire the gun, first you need to charge the charging handle. What this does is it opens the feed tube to allow the BBs, if you can hear that, the BBs to now flow into the feeding area of the gun, to then be pushed into the barrel, to then exit out of the barrel. That's always cool to have a little bit of realism added. And apparently, there's some rattling to this dummy rounds here. Let's see how much rattling and if it's just a gimmick or if there's actually some more realism added. Oh yeah, it has no issues going 30 meters. And to be honest, there's not much spread as well. One thing I'm very pleasantly surprised about this gun is, believe it or not, there's a bit of recoil to this thing. Not as much as like the Mark 46, almost, but not as much. One thing I do have to critique though is, for as big as a stock that this thing has, the battery compartment is surprisingly small. I'm using a nunchuck style Titan battery and I can't close the flap. So you guys are gonna have to use a very small 11.1 LiPo that only fits about like that inside the stock. I wish they had a larger compartment, but it doesn't. But then again, shooting is good. You guys know what I'm gonna do, one-handed. So the rumors are true, you can shoot it one-handed. You know, for an LMG, a light machine gun, certainly does live up to the name. You can wield this thing shouldered. You can move and shoot. And the great thing about it being a relatively light gun is you don't have a lot of this mechanical sway as you're moving. I've shot several machine guns before, and to be honest, this is great. Given the fact that it also has an absurd amount of rounds inside this gun, you can just keep laying down the fire as you go. Put a foregrip on this thing, and you can just keep going. And to be honest, this little bit of recoil just makes the gun so much more fun. Hooah! Yeah! Back to the studio. If you're interested in any of the machine guns that we've talked about during this video, why don't you go and click on the card above, or you can find all of them linked in the description below. Now, let's get back into wrapping this up. I want to start by going back to the Mark 46. The Mark 46 is a great gun, and I would like to compare the Mark 46 to like a Tesla. Teslas are great. They drive great, they perform well, and they even have unique characteristics that are just unique to that particular platform. It's going to make a lot of people happy, but, well, maybe not every person. Teslas are great, but they're almost just great for Tesla people. And I think people who are into cars will kind of know the analogy I'm trying to give. They're for a group of people that know exactly what they want, and they find a lot of joy getting exactly that. Now, the Mark 48 is kind of like an M3 or an M4, minus those hideous nostrils. This is an incredibly focused gun, very refined, and it's the best that this platform really has to offer, while appealing to a wider audience that is still familiar with said platform. What am I trying to say with all these car analogies? Am I trying to say that the Tokyo Marui Mark 46 NGRS is some overly engineered, soulless, dead object? No, I'm not saying that at all. As a matter of fact, the Mark 46 is probably the best place that Tokyo Marui has put their NGRS system. What I am actually trying to say is the Mark 48 right here has demonstrated and perfected the recipe and how you make a practical airsoft LMG. I mean, it checks all the boxes. Reliability, check. Lightweight, check. Overwhelming firepower, check. Added realism, check. So with its added quality of life changes, it really takes an otherwise straightforward, generic, rather boring AEG platform and sprinkles a little bit of fun to it that makes something like this a little more engaging and a little bit more practical for you and I to use on the field. Is this the perfect machine gun? Well, I would say this is a perfected recipe for making an AEG. And if this suits your needs, and if it's something you've been waiting for, you don't want something too complicated, and you want something straightforward, then the Mark 48 really does check all the boxes. But if you want more, of course, there are others out there for you to choose from. Now guys, what do you think? Do you prefer the NGRS Mark 46, or does this one really become your go-to machine gun? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Well, also tell me, y'all Tesla fans, or are you still like the vroom vroom engine? Let me know that too. Guys, until the next episode of RedWolf TV, if you thought this was a cool video, give us a like and share it with your friends. If you haven't done so yet, subscribe. We're getting so close to 400,000 subscribes, guys. Hey, And if you want cool products like this and many more, don't forget to check out our online store, www.redwolfairsoft.com. And until the next episode, see y'all next time.